Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am very excited for today's video. I get excited to film this video every single year and I typically film it right around the fall time. And today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 3 makeup products in every single category with the exception of eyeshadow. I will be doing the top 3 in every eyeshadow like category tag after this video and that was created by Aniela Kanikovis and I do that one every single year as well. So if you're interested in eyeshadows, stay tuned for that video. But if you're interested in my top 3 in every other makeup category, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project planning content, palette themed content, or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love for you to consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. I feel like it's time to like chop my hair off, but at the same time I'm like, it's taken me so long to grow it out, but I'm just like never, but I'm also just like never happy with the way my hair looks. But how cute is this little clip? It's like almost the exact same as my clips that I had last year, which I do still have. Those are glow in the dark, but these I got at Target and I think that's so cute. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna start kind of in the order. I'm gonna go in the order that I would typically do my makeup. Typically I would actually start with my eyes, but we're gonna go after my eyes are done, the order that I would go in. So we're gonna start with primer, and I actually do have one honorable mention in this category, and that is the Merit Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. This is, I believe, technically considered a primer, and I don't necessarily use this as my sole primer. So I typically, as I said, start doing my eyes first, but I do have really dry skin. So before I start my eye makeup for the day, I will go in with the Merit Great Skin Instant Glow Primer just to add some hydration to my skin. And it offers this very, very beautiful, just like kind of wet looking finish to the skin. It's not something that lasts all day. Like if you were to just wear this and do no makeup over top, it's not something that like your skin's gonna look wet all day long, but it does just give like a drink of water to my face that I absolutely love. And then after I finish my eyes, usually I go in with a different primer, one that's usually more tacky than this. But if you have dry skin, I absolutely love this. My skin loves this. I was thinking when I first started using this that I liked it, but I wouldn't repurchase it again. And as I've gotten to the very end of this, I'm like, dang, I actually will need to go repurchase this. I was very fortunate that Merit actually sent over another one of these, so I don't need to go repurchase instantly. But this is something if they hadn't sent that to me, I would absolutely have repurchased just because I love this for some extra hydration in the morning. What I typically look for in a primer is something that is going to be gripping. What I try and get most out of my primer is something that is going to make my makeup last all day. And so for me, my favorite gripping primer, I do really love the LYS one, but I don't currently have that one. So for me, my current favorite is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer. This will be my second tube of the Dew Primer that I will go through. And I love this because it is so sticky. It almost does feel like you're putting glue on your face, which I know sounds really uncomfortable, but I really noticed that this does help to prolong my makeup. And that is, again, what is most important to me. I will say I don't find this to be distracting like into the day. When I first put this on, it does kind of feel not the great, like it's like the actual application, I'm like, okay, this is like sticky and kind of gross, but it doesn't feel like distracting throughout the day. So I really, really love this. It offers a really, really beautiful glow to the skin as well. If you don't like a glow, I maybe would recommend, I also really like the Power Grip with niacinamide, but of all of my primers, the Jelly Pop is definitely top 3. And then I also have to mention the Tula Filter Primer. This is my third tube of this that I would go through. And while I don't feel like this one is like the most gripping primer, what I love having this primer for is when I am self-tanning and my body does not match my face, this has a bit of, it's like one of those products that comes out almost white. And then as you blend it into the skin, the pigment beads like burst and it becomes somewhat pigmented. There are different shades throughout this line. I want to say there's like maybe 6 or 7 shades, and I find that this just works so well if I'm not doing a full face of makeup. Honestly, I will use this on days that I'm doing just like concealer, brows, and mascara, and I'll use this to match my body to my face. It works so well for that. I absolutely love this product. And then if I'm feeling really self-conscious about my pores or I want a pore filling primer, by far my favorite pore filling primer is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. This is the best smoothing primer in my opinion that I have tried. The smallest amount goes the longest way, and this really does just filter out your skin, and I absolutely love it. Okay, moving on to foundation. I have an honorable mention here as well. I was going to do foundation and then like skin tints, but really I just have one skin tint that I absolutely love, but I couldn't like take away one of my top 3 foundations. So I'm not doing a full 3 for skin tints. My #1 favorite skin tint is one that I discovered this year, and actually I do believe that this launched this year. It is the Supergoop Protectant Daily SPF. I purchased this during the last Sephora VIB sale, and I loved it so much that I went out and purchased my like summer shade in this as well. I just think this is absolutely beautiful. You have SPF 50 in this. I wore this when I was in Vegas in April, like end of April, so like the sun was beaming down on me, and I do not feel like I got a sunburn while wearing this. This is so easy to blend out. I just use my fingers to blend this out, and I feel like my like cream products layer so beautifully on top of this. So definitely a top favorite new skin tint slash tinted SPF. Okay, then my top 3 foundations. So up first, I have this one from Laura Mercier. This is the Real Flawless Weightless. This is the Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. And what's really funny about this is when I first started trying this foundation, I did not like it. I don't think I changed anything in my routine, so I don't know like what changed my mind. Maybe I was using too much product in the beginning, because I did feel like this just looked, when I used it in the beginning, my face just looked like heavy and aged. But the littlest bit of this goes the longest way, and this is just something that is kind of like a light to medium, more medium leaning in coverage. You could build this up to be more full coverage, but I do think it would start to look really heavy if you do that. But it's so thin on the skin. It really does feel almost like a serum-like foundation while still providing really good coverage and just this really beautiful filter to the skin. I think this is a really beautiful foundation. I definitely would purchase this again when I finish this. I believe every single year I've done top 3 in every category. I've talked about a Dior foundation. Right now, the one that I have in my collection is the Dior Forever Skin Glow. I think this is so beautiful. I feel like this lands kind of in the medium, not full, but like more medium to full leaning foundation. It offers a really beautiful, healthy skin-like glow to the skin, which is really what I'm looking for. I personally do not like something that is too mattifying on my skin. I don't like something that blurs my skin so much that it just looks like I'm wearing a mask. I do feel like this still looks like skin, and it is such a long-lasting foundation. This is one, if I have something that like I really want to make sure my makeup looks good for a long period of time, I will reach for my Dior Forever. I think it's such a beautiful foundation. Continues to be a favorite since I've tried, and they've reformulated, I feel like, many times, and I continue to even like the reformulations. And then my 3rd favorite foundation, I think this might, oh, it's so hard to pick between this and the Dior. Like, I love them so much. I don't know that I could pick a favorite, but this is the Guerlain Healthy Skin, Healthy Glow Natural Perfection Foundation. This is another one that is almost like a demi matte sort of finish, like, or a satin matte finish, where it still looks like your skin has this nice healthy glow to it, but it also is almost like a mattifying finish in that it is such a long lasting foundation. I brought this with me to Vegas because I, again, had like events out there that I wanted my foundation to last all day. If ever I have like people visiting at work that like I really want to make sure my foundation is like looking good all day, this is a foundation that I also find myself reaching for. It's between this and Dior. Like, honestly, either one will forever repurchase this. I hope that they never get rid of this foundation. All right, my top 3 concealers. I have the Tower 28 concealer. This is the, I forget what they call this, but I have mine in the shade DTLA. This is a really beautiful, quite hydrating concealer. I believe this has serum in the name. Yes, serum concealer. It does feel, it is like a serum-like texture in that it is so thin and lightweight, but still offers a nice medium coverage. Never looks heavy underneath my eyes. I feel like sets really well with powder. I've been a huge fan of this one. Also, the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer I think is such a beautiful one. Again, very thin, does not feel heavy underneath the eyes, provides a really nice medium coverage, doesn't look cakey, sets really well with the powder, doesn't look too mattifying that my under eyes look dry. I just absolutely love this one. And then my current favorite is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. This one is definitely the thickest of the three, but I feel like this provides me the most coverage. For me personally, I feel like it sets really beautifully underneath my eyes. I feel like it really smooths out my under eyes, and I get the least amount of creasing with this one out of the three that I talked about. Could be because the other two are just a little bit thinner, but I absolutely love this. And again, if I have something that I want my makeup to just look absolutely flawless with, this is the concealer that I'm reaching for. Moving on to powders, I have 2 pressed and 1 loose. You guys probably already know my loose powder, the Givenchy Prism Libre. I have mine in the shade Viola Rosé. I absolutely love this powder, and I'm very worried about repurchasing because the new formulation apparently is like extremely glowy, although I do like a glowy finish, but I don't want it to look like I like highlighted my under eyes, so we'll see. But I think this is so beautiful. It offers such a beautiful full coverage filter to the face, but doesn't look like heavy and powdery. I love this so much. And then for my pressed powder, I have 2, obviously. So I have the CoverGirl Clean Fresh powder. I think this is such a nice powder because it is so thin in texture that it doesn't look like this, like it doesn't look like powder on your face. It's almost like your skin can still breathe through it, and I don't feel like it totally takes away like any glow that your face would have to offer. Like I feel like my skin still glows through this. So comfortable on the skin. It's so thin. I just absolutely love this. And then kind of the same thing, so I have the Kosas Cloud Set powder. This is a really beautiful baked powder. Again, so thin that it doesn't feel like anything on the skin, and I do feel like my skin can still glow through this. It's not a totally mattifying powder. It's still gonna set my makeup and help my makeup last longer throughout the day, but it's not going to make it look like I have this just like flat face. So I absolutely love the Kosas Cloud Set. I've actually repurchased both of these. My previous one of this broke, like shattered at beyond repair, so I instantly went out and repurchased because I loved this so much. And then after finishing this, I went a few months, maybe 6 months without this, and was really missing this in my life, so ended up repurchasing the Kosas as well. Okay, for bronzer, I do have both cream as well as powder bronzers to share, 3 in each category. So we can start with cream bronzer, and up first I have my Merit bronzing stick. I have mine in the shade Clay. What I love about this bronzing stick is, one, I love that it's in a stick form, so it's so easy to travel with if I'm just going like to my mom's for the night and I want to bring makeup, or if I'm going away for, you know, several days. It's such an easy product to travel with, and it's definitely not a super pigmented bronzer. It's definitely more sheer, and it kind of just gives like a light wash of a bronze. So if I'm going in with maybe just like my Tula primer, or if I'm going in with a skin tint and I don't want something like super pigmented, this is such a good option. Just adds like a little bit of like a bronze beauty to the skin, just very natural, and I really enjoy that one. And then kind of in the same vein, I really love the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Skin Transforming Skin Enhancer, kind of for the same reasons. This one is definitely more sheer, not quite as convenient to travel with, but you know, still easy enough, and just so easy to work into the skin, so easy to blend. I can even use my fingers with this one, and it's just a very easy product to work with. I feel like it's not super pigmented, so you can't go too heavy-handed. Like for example, the NARS cream bronzer in Laguna, for me, like we can get a little bit too crazy with that one. This one, again, really just kind of enhances the natural beauty of your skin, adds a little bit of bronze, add a little bit of shape to your face without being too much, and I think this is such a beautiful product. And then my third cream bronzer is the Chanel Le Beige cream bronzer. I absolutely love this. This is not as pigmented as the NARS, but not quite as sheer as the other 2 products that I've shared, and again just gives a really beautiful warmth to the skin. Very easy to work with. I know that this is expensive, but you actually get so much product in this component that I don't think it's like the worst deal of life, but I think this is a beautiful product and definitely in my top 3 for cream bronzers. All right, then for powder bronzers, this is a bronzer I've reintroduced to my collection this year. It's the Benefit Hoola bronzer, and honestly this is just such a solid staple bronzer. I've gone through a many of this in the past. This is a bronzer I have on my face today, and it's just a bronzer for me that I feel like whether I am my fairest or honestly whether I'm self-tanning, I can either build this up or really sheer it out to just kind of work in the way that I want. It's not so warm that it feels orange, but it also isn't like super cool. I just feel like it's a perfect bronzer shade. I just have the original. I know they have some different shades, but I love this formula. It's super easy to work with. Second favorite would be this one from Give Beauty. This is a cream contour and powder bronzer duo, and I don't use the cream contour that frequently in this, but for a powder bronzer, especially when I'm self-tan, I absolutely love this product. If I didn't say I have the shade Toasted, obviously I have a pan in this bronzer. I think this is so gorgeous on the skin. It is definitely more warm. So again, I really enjoy this one for the summer months. It is definitely also very pigmented, so I have to be a little bit careful with this one. But when I get it right, I absolutely love this one, and I couldn't stop reaching for this summer, so I definitely had to mention this. And then my third favorite bronzer is my Gucci bronzer. Specifically, I love the shade 1. I also have the shade 3, which is very deep. Deeper than I thought when I swatched it in store, and it works for me in the summer, but I still have to be very careful with it regardless of, you know, the shade. Obviously each person is going to need a different shade. It is a very smooth, very thin, very lightweight, creamy formula that is just so easy to blend out and just works so well on the skin. I really like the shade 1 because it is almost like, I don't want to say it's cool toned, it's more of like neutral with pink in it, which really helps when, especially when I'm at my fairest, and I'm definitely a little bit more like, I'm cool complected naturally, so it helps to not make me look so orangey in the winter, and I just absolutely love this one. Moving on to blush, this might have been my most difficult category, specifically cream blush, because I have so many cream blush formulas that I really like. So honorable mention to this Say liquid blushes, I think are so beautiful. Also the Makeup by Mario cream stick blush. I really like the Kaja Dewy bars and the Fenty Cheeks Out. Like, oh, I like so many of my cream blush products. But for my top 3, up first I have the Merit cream blushes. I love these. I've fallen more in love with these. Specifically over this year, I've really fallen in love with the Merit cream blush sticks. They're so easy to use, whether or not you use your finger, whether or not you just like dab it onto the cheeks, whether you use a brush. Again, is kind of like a lighter, more sheer wash of color, so it's just kind of really gonna enhance like your natural beauty. Like, it's just like your face but better, like just adding a little bit of a flush to the cheek without being too pigmented or too intense. Oh, I love these so much. The MAC Glow Play cream blush in So Natural. Can we take a moment? Like, I just love this. I just think this is such a beautiful shade, and it's such an easy formula to work with. I love like a bronzy, nudie sort of blush, something that is almost just gonna like extend my bronzer and just make me look almost more bronzy. That is just my vibe, and you can barely see this on the skin, but it just adds this really beautiful flush that makes you look like maybe you just pinched your cheek, maybe you just got done going for like a light little stroll or a jog, but you have like a little color on your cheeks. I think it's so freaking beautiful. And then these are some of the newest cream blushes in my collection, but I love this formula from Lawless. So my favorite shade is Angel, which is this really beautiful kind of peachy, orangey coral sort of shade. What I love about these blushes is they do offer this really beautiful kind of satin sheer glow to the cheeks. Like, it's not going to be a matte cream blush. I personally love a little bit of a glow. It's so creamy and emollient to the touch without being too sticky on the face, but it's very easy to work with this product, whether or not, again, you want to use your finger, your brush, your beauty sponge. And I just think it has such a flawless finish once it's blended out. Very easy to blend out. Super impressed with this formula from Lawless. I think this video is going to end up going up in October, but I'm filming this at the very end of September. Ugh. And it is like 80 degrees and it's so hot. I literally like just cannot. It's so hot. Sweating. And I turned my air off so it wouldn't be loud, but I'm sweating. All right, moving on to powder blush. Powder blush was a little bit easier, but still I have so many favorites in my collection. This has been a favorite though since purchasing. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop powder blush. I specifically have the shade Desert Rose. I think Desert Rose is such a beautiful kind of neutral, like pinky mauve leaning, like a little bit cooler, but just so beautiful, like a natural, slightly cool toned blush. I love this formula because it is, again, kind of like a satin finish. It's not a totally matte blush, and I like something that has just the slightest hint of a glow to it, so I think this is so freaking beautiful. Then I think we all know that I'm going to mention the Laura Mercier blush in the shade Fresco. I just love this shade. It's this really beautiful, warm, neutral blush shade, kind of similar to MAC's So Natural, but this is in powder form. There are like glitter flecks running throughout, but I don't notice that I have like sparkles on my cheeks when I wear this. And I just think it's such a beautiful blush that kind of matches just about any look that I want to do. If I'm ever unsure of what blush I want to reach for, or maybe I'm in a rush and I don't want to think about what blush I'm going to use, I'll just always reach for this shade. I think it's gorgeous. And then my last favorite blush, it was really hard not to choose the Nabla like baked blushes. I think those are so stunning, but I almost like to use those as blush toppers. So I selected the Lawless Angel Suede blush, or just honestly the Lawless formula in general. I also have the shade Indian Rose, which is such a beautiful kind of berry tone shade. I love to mix Nabla Truth with Lawless Angel Suede, but again with this Lawless formula, it is not totally matte on your cheeks, but it's not this very glowy blush either. It really kind of has this almost satin matte or satin glow, whichever way you see it, as cup half empty or cup half full. Do you see it as glowy or do you see it as, anyway, I think it's a stunning formula. This one lasts a good amount of time on the cheeks too. It's not one of those blushes that fades really quickly, and I'm just a huge fan of the Lawless powder blushes as well. Okay, I don't use like a cream and liquid highlighter frequently enough for me to warrant having a top 3 cream / liquid highlight, but for my powder highlights, this was so difficult. I love my Rare Beauty, which I am not mentioning. I also love Nabla's Privilege, is such a beautiful powder highlight, but this has been a favorite since I purchased it in 2018. It's the Bobbi Brown Pink Glow Highlighter. I will say my preference is definitely a pink leaning highlight, and typically I've been liking something a little bit more subtle. Now I don't think this is the most subtle highlight of life. You can definitely build it or you can really sheer it out, but this is a very beautiful product. If I just swirl my brush, I get a mixture of pink and like a cooler, icier. So I can kind of go like, if I just want pink and something a little bit more warm but not so warm, because it's still pretty cool, I can just do like the pink section. Or if I want something icy, I can just reach into like the icy kind of white shade. But it's this really beautiful baked product that just looks like almost like wet skin. Like it looks like your skin is just absolutely glowing. It doesn't look like you have a strip of powder highlight on your face. I've literally had this as a favorite since 2018, so clearly we love her. All right, then I have, this has definitely been a favorite for a long time. I don't know that this has been in my top 3 every year, but I had recently, or this actually is going in my Graveyard Project Pan. This is a Vesca highlight in the shade Moonlight. I hate mentioning this because you can no longer get this, but truly this is one of my most used highlights of this year and one of my favorites. I think this is, when I want something that's more like champagne or golden leaning, this is always what I gravitate towards, just because it is, because of the base of this, because this isn't like a totally golden base, it really does pull in a way that's like flattering on my more cool complected skin. Sometimes I feel like a really golden highlight can look just like almost too warm on my skin to the point where it looks like a shadow. But this also isn't like such an icy champagne that it's such a stark contrast on my cheeks. It's just pure perfection in my mind. This is another one too where it just truly kind of melds, where it just truly melts in with your skin, and it is a little bit more, you can build it up to be really glowy, but you really can sheer this one out to just be like, just like a little bit of illumination on the cheeks. It's so pretty. And then finally I have my Give Beauty Platinum Cowgirl highlight for those days that I really don't want too much of a highlight but want like a little bit of something. I actually do have this on my cheeks today, and when I look like here on camera I'm like, oh, is that too glowy? But in person I'm like, it's barely a glow at all. I think I said I have Platinum Cowgirl. This, I think we all know, looks like those old Physician Formulas powders. And what I will say for this one, I usually try and like have my brush really hit all 4 shades, or all 3 shades, sorry, the peach, pink, and white. But sometimes I'll just go between like mostly the pink and peach. Regardless, I always like the finish. I never feel like one cheek is looking a different color than the other just based on like how my brush goes, and I never feel that way. Just gives a really beautiful subtle glow to the cheeks, so I have a bit of highlight without being like I'm blinding you in the lobby at my dental office. Like, we love it. I don't really have a lot to share in eye categories. As I said, I will be doing a separate top 3 eyeshadow palettes in every category with different prompts. And then for my brows, I literally just use Danessa Myricks Groundworks palette, the Benefit 24-hour lash setter, and Glossier's brow gel, tinted brow gel, boy brow. Like, what am I saying? That's literally what I use. I suppose I could have showed the products to you guys. Anyway, I did want to share my top 3 eyeliner formulas. So the 24/7 Glide On pencils from Urban Decay have been a favorite basically since probably 2017, 2018 when I first tried these. I have so many different shades throughout this formula, and this is one that I really just feel like stays in my waterline all day. I have really watery eyes, so sometimes I just feel like things do not stay in my waterline. It's creamy, so it's easy to apply, but it lasts. So I love those. The Essence Extreme Lasting pencils are like $3. $2.99 I think, and they are so good. The shade 2 But First Espresso is this dark brown, probably my favorite dark brown eyeliner, just because it's so affordable, and that is one of the longest lasting eyeliners I've ever used, and it is a really creamy formula. This one is in the shade, I think 6, Silky Nude. I also really love this shade on days that I want like something a little bit brighter in my waterline. I've been holding off on repurchasing the dark brown shade just because I'm trying to get through some of my other dark brown eyeliners, but that is such a good eyeliner at such an affordable cost. And then the third formula that I love is the Nabla Cupid's Arrow. This is more of like a crayon. It's something that you twist up rather than sharpen. It is definitely the creamiest formula of the 3, but I have used this in my waterline, and I do still feel like I get a long-lasting wear time even when this is in my waterline. But if you are someone who likes to use a pencil to create a wing, this is such a good formula for that. It's so creamy that it's easy to kind of get onto like a liner brush, but then like once you get it onto your lids, I do feel like it sets really nicely, and I'm a really big fan of these as well. Okay, I do not know where my NARS smudge proof eyeshadow base is, but that is my top eyeshadow base. I have repurchased that. And then the NYX glitter primer I've gone through, I believe this is my 3rd, and I already have a 4th on backup for a glitter glue or just a, you know, a shadow glue. So affordable, always reliable, and definitely just a favorite. Okay, moving on to lips, we can start with the lip liner category. And lip liner is definitely not something I've always loved, but I've gotten more into lip liners this year. So my top 3 are actually all 3 that came in to my life this year, but I also have to honorable mention the e.l.f. ones, which again, so affordable and a really nice formula that is very long lasting, as well as the MAC lip liners I also really like. But the 3 that I have here, up first, I have the Glossier lip lines. This one is in the shade Buff. Buff is probably my favorite shade, but they definitely have some really beautiful shades in their line. This is a really creamy formula. Like, it goes on, it glides on really, I don't want to do this. Choosing just my like the flip up portion of my camera. It's a really creamy formula that glides right onto the lips, but this is very long lasting. When I first applied this, I didn't think this would be something that would last a good amount of time just based on how easy it was to apply, but I was very impressed with the wear time on the Glossier lip liners. Then I have the Fenty Beauty lip liner. This is in the shade this is the Trace Out lip liner in the shade Peanut Butter. I love this shade. I love a brown nude, so I just can't help myself. The shade in my mind for this one is just pure perfection, but this is another one I wasn't thinking was gonna be very long wearing just because it was very creamy to apply. It glided right onto the lips. I'm like, is that even the correct verbiage? Glid. It went onto the lips very easily. And I am personally someone who likes to kind of like line my lips and then fill my lips in still with my lip liner and then go over top with more lip products. So this is one that was very easy to kind of like fill the rest of my lips in as well. And I love this shade too, so like why would I not use it just all over the lips? But very, very good wear time on this. I'm definitely interested in picking up more shades in the Fenty lip liners. And then finally, the Lawless Forget the Filler Definer lip liner, I'm also just so impressed with. I really like some of the shades in the Lawless line. I'm trying to remember my favorite shade. The shade Nude Honey in the Lawless line is probably my favorite because again, I love like a nude, pink leaning nude. But I also really like the shade Pink Slip, which is kind of more of like a mauve tone shade. This again, very easy to apply to the lips, very easy to define the lips, but then also very easy to fill the lips in. And again, so impressed with the wear time on this one. This is something like a specifically Nude Honey. If I were to finish this off, I would absolutely repurchase this. Been really impressed with these from not Huda, from Lawless. Moving on to liquid lipstick. Liquid lipstick definitely used to be a favorite category of mine and now definitely is not a very commonly worn product, but I will say recently I have been getting back into the MAC Powder Kiss liquid lip color. I have the shade Over the Taupe. I'm literally obsessed with this. It is such a beautiful like fall neutral shade, but like not like a light shade. It's like kind of like a mid-tone. It's so beautiful. This is 100% a repurchase when I finish that. I also have been, mostly because I said I was going to finish this year, but I've always been a big fan of the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick formula. One of my favorites because they are very long lasting while still being very comfortable. Recently I've been wearing the shade Mondays again, and this is another one that's like a little bit deeper, not like vampy, but it's like kind of a wearable, deeper, neutral shade. I think it's so stunning on the lips. And again, Dose of Colors is a favorite liquid lipstick formula. And then my third favorite liquid lipstick formula would be the Persona liquid lipsticks. These are so thin in texture on the lips. They're so comfortable and they don't dry the lips out to like a point of not being comfortable. This one specifically is in the shade Holy Grail. Such a beautiful kind of blue toned red, like a true red, just like a true red. When you think of like classic red, this is something that I think of. And if I am going for something a little bit more bold, I do love a liquid lipstick over a lipstick just because I feel like I can trust it a little bit more. So I am a big fan of the Persona if I'm reaching for a liquid lipstick. Okay, I also don't wear lipsticks all that frequently, but my top three would be the Milani lipstick. I don't know what this is called, Tease. It's in the shade Tease, but I don't know what the actual name of the like formula is. This is a really beautiful shade, a really beautiful dupe to actually another favorite I want to mention, but the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in Very Victoria. This is such a nice formula because it glides onto the lips. It is really creamy, but it's not something that I feel like is like slipping outside of my lip lines. And this is also drugstore, so we love that. Speaking of Charlotte Tilbury Very Victoria, I do think that the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, personally in my opinion, are overpriced. Now that could be because I don't wear lipsticks all that much, but the packaging even just feels really cheap in my opinion. There is Very Victoria swatched right there. This is a really beautiful kind of pink toned, pinky brownie nude. I love the shade. And this is one of my more frequently worn lipsticks. That's why I'm shouting it out as like a top three. But I also feel like you don't need to pay Charlotte Tilbury prices for their lipsticks. And then my third favorite lipstick formula is the Merit Beauty lipstick formula, the the Signature Lip, not the matte ones, the Rouge Signature Lip. This one is in the shade 1990, and this is definitely a little bit different than like what I typically would go for. But I do love a brown, and this is definitely like giving like 90s vibes. So I like that they named it 1990s just for something a little bit, you know, grungier. I still feel like you can pair this with a lip liner to kind of, like, I don't ever feel like weird or uncomfortable wearing this brown, and it is a little bit more sheer too. Again, I find this formula really comfortable on the lips, but I don't feel like it's slipping and sliding everywhere. So this would be my third top favorite lip. Okay, then I had to split up my categories by lip balms / treatments, lip oils, and lip glosses because I like just love so many lip products. I couldn't decide. Sorry, that hair is bothering me. Okay, so lip oils. I cannot find my Clarins lip oil, but oh my gosh, come on now. That is by far a top lip oil favorite. I have purchased so many of them. I still need to purchase, I should see if I can get it today, I really want the black checkered one. I think that's so beautiful, and we know I love a checkered print anything. But I also love the Too Faced Kissing Lip Jelly Oil Gloss. I'm counting this in the gloss or in the oil category. I love this formula. It truly does feel like a hybrid between a gloss and a lip oil. It's a little bit thicker than your average lip oil, and it shines like a gloss, but it feels nourishing, almost like an oil. My favorite shade is the shade Bubblegum, which is this really beautiful pink sparkly shade, but it's not gritty at all. It is smooth like a lip oil. Ugh, I love this. And then my third favorite lip oil is the Milani Fruit Fresh lip oils. This is so thin in texture on the lips, and it just feels nourishing. It's glossy, it's beautiful. I am just a big fan of this, and again, you can get this at the drugstore, so we love the drugstore prices. Definitely worth checking out. This is kind of similar to the clearance lip oil, so if you're looking for an alternative, I almost find that this one is even just a little bit thinner than the clearance. Very beautiful formula. Okay, for lip balms slash lip treatments, I am a big fan of the Sigma Hydro Melt Lip Mask. Now I will say this is very, very thick. I wear this at night because it truly is so nourishing and so hydrating on the lips, but I could see this being too much for some people. And in that case, I would recommend the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. It's not quite as thick and sticky, but this will literally do wonders for your dry, cracked lips. And I live in Minnesota, so my lips need literally all the help they can get. The Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm, I am a really big fan of. I think this is a really nice, comfortable, nourishing formula. I am really excited. I ordered the hot cocoa one because my daughter loved the Glossier hot cocoa. And I was like, ooh, Summer Fridays hot cocoa, yes, please. Really comfortable balm on the lips, something that I love to travel with me. Like if I'm going like to my mom's, I love to bring this as my car like lip balm, just because it's long lasting. It does actually make my lips feel like they're getting hydrated, so I love that one. And then probably my top favorite like new one for the year is the Ole Henriksen Pout Preserve. And do you guys see this? Do you guys see that I have the blood orange? I have been complaining about how I missed out on the blood orange, and I am so grateful because First Time Panner over on Instagram, I will have her link down below because God bless, she sent me a message and was like, did you see this? And there was a holiday set that had the blood orange and then like the original, I forget what I'll post a picture of what the set was. I believe I paid $30 for this, and it's 2 full sizes, so it's a $44 value. I freaking love these. So honestly, just like, I didn't necessarily care to have the other shade, but to get the blood orange, I was like, yep, definitely getting that. I'm also interested in the pomegranate one that they released, but I was like, girl, you don't probably need 5 of these. This has definitely replaced the Kopari lip glossies, because the Kopari lip glossies, like, I loved as just like an easy squeeze tube lip gloss, but this is kind of similar in that it's like a squeeze tube lip gloss, but it actually feels like it's so nourishing on the lips. Plane, car, work, home, literally these could be scattered everywhere. I love this formula so much. It just feels so smooth on the lips, so nourishing, so comfortable. Oh, love this. And then lip gloss, which is one of my favorite categories. And we already know if this is just anything but your first video, you already know, because I will literally mention this lip gloss in every video. But my tippity top favorite lip gloss formula is Lawless Forget the Filler. My favorite shade to date is Velvet. I just feel like that was like the perfect kind of cool toned Your Lips But Better. This one is in the shade Nudie. I mean, I love all the shades, but if I had to pick a favorite, I do want to purchase, I've obviously emptied out some shades, but I want to own every single shade at the same time and do like a lip swatching video. Mostly because it would just be an excuse to buy more Lawless Forget the Fillers, but this literally comes everywhere with me. If I'm going out doing anything, it's not like what gloss am I bringing, it's what shade of the Lawless Forget the Filler am I bringing today. I absolutely love this gloss. It is like, it makes your lips look fuller in like this juicy way, and it has a bit of like a minty sensation to it, but not as minty as like Buxom lip glosses. And I think just like the smoothness of the formula and the way that it just makes your lips shine makes your lips look plumper without it being painful. This has been my favorite lip gloss since these launched. Favorite. Honestly, might be one of my longest running favorites. Same with Pink Glow, same with like Dior foundations, but like, ugh, so good. Also a long running favorite, Fenty Gloss Bomb. I just love the Fenty Gloss Bombs. My favorite shade is Riri, which I actually think is currently in my car. Actually, yeah, it's in my car. It's such a beautiful like mauve berry shade. It, I believe, released as a limited edition shade for the Super Bowl. At least I thought that, and now it's like, at least I thought that was the first time it released, but now it's permanent to the line, thank goodness, because for a fall lip gloss, I think that might be my favorite. Like, if I want color on my lips, absolutely, it's such a stunning shade. I also think Fenty Glow, I've gone through multiple Fenty Glows, such a universally flattering shade. It's this really beautiful kind of warm rose gold, but it's so flattering on the lips. I will say some of the Fenty Gloss Bombs are quite smooth, whereas others are somewhat gritty. So just something to keep an eye on, or something to keep in mind. If that's something that bothers you, it might be worth going in store to like swatch the shade you're interested in to see if it feels gritty to the touch. And then finally, my third favorite gloss, I didn't realize was as much of a favorite as it was until this year. And it is the Buxom glosses. I have the regular gloss and the cream version. I think the regular gloss is my favorite, but I think I've purchased more Buxom glosses this year than I have even Lawless Forget the Fillers. Now, it could be because there was like shades launching that I was really excited about. Now, I will say I do still need to get the 2 newest shades from the Lawless Forget the Filler, because but I'm waiting till the Sephora VIB sale. The Buxom gloss, I do not reach for as frequently as the Lawless, because these definitely are something that's a little bit more intense on the lips. They have a very minty sensation. It's not painful like the lip plumping glosses, but they have a very intense minty sensation. I will say this gloss formula is slightly more sticky than some of the other gloss formulas that I've mentioned. However, it is extremely long lasting, and I just think that these are so beautiful on the lips. This is specifically in the shade Samantha. I love their limited edition pumpkin spice shade. I think that's such a beautiful nude gloss, pure perfection. But this would be my third favorite gloss formula. After that, those are my top 3 makeup product in every category. I definitely forgot mascara. I was about to say, I hope I didn't forget a category. Okay, for me, I have different mascaras open at any different time, and I try not to purchase mascara because you always get free mascara, but my top 3 mascaras that I've ever tried would be the Rare Beauty, Ilia Limitless, and what would my third favorite mascara be? I love those 2 so much. I will say I really liked the Urban Decay Lash Freak when that was a thing. Maybe we're just gonna go top 2 though. Limitless from Ilia has been a favorite since I've used that. That is absolutely something, like if I were to like whittle down my mascara collection, that is 100% one I would repurchase. And then same thing goes for the Rare Beauty. I definitely want to try the Lawless mascara because I've heard such good things about the Lawless, but my top 2 would be the Ilia Limitless and the Rare Beauty mascara. And after that, I believe those are all the categories. I hope. If I forgot one, I'm so sorry, but those are my top 3 favorite makeup products in every category. I would love to know what some of your favorites are in the comments below. And other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.